Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie.
Daniel Arap Moi, Kenya's second president, ceded power in 2002 after 24 years of what was seen as autocratic leadership. Many called him the accidental president. He came from a minority ethnic community called the Togen, was regarded as being not as charismatic as other leaders, and was humiliated by close-knit friends of founding President Jomo Kenyatta when Moi was his deputy. When Kenyatta died, Moi took over and was seen as a shrewd and calculating politician.
President Moi has always kept in mind that his first duty is to the people of Kenya as head of state.
He'll be remembered for his passion about education and other social programs. He gave the go-ahead to build schools, universities, health centers and churches across the country.
His selfless personal example has given Kenyans a new sense of urgency and purpose.
He also spearheaded a campaign to protect the environment, personally leading efforts to build fortifications to prevent soil erosion.
President Moi, to some extent, was a populist who wanted to be seen as a compassionate figure, and he wanted to be seen as a God-fearing figure. But everything that he did went contrary to what he wanted the people to believe.
Some analysts say the turning point for his leadership was in the 1982 coup attempt by a group of soldiers and politicians. In the years that followed, his government ordered a violent crackdown on opponents, some blamed for plotting the coup. Thousands were detained and tortured. Though the country remained broadly stable, ethnic clashes in some parts became common, especially during elections.
He used divide and rule, like most politicians do, you know? That's how he remained at the helm. But then he had the ability to see when he was cornered. He would always provide an opportunity to diffuse tension.
Moi is credited by many for allowing a peaceful transition of power to his successor Mwai Kibaki. But by the time he retired, critics argue that the economy was in ruins with extremely high rates of unemployment and poverty. In addition to all that, corruption, patronage and tribalism had been normalized, and most Kenyans just wanted him gone.
Let's now speak to Bob Mkangi. He's a lawyer. He's a political analyst as well. He's joining us from Nairobi. Thanks for your time with us on the News Hour. So his critics call him an authoritarian leader, and his allies credit him with maintaining stability in the country. Where do you stand in this debate?
As you heard about the authoritarianism that Moi did visit to some extent in Kenya, my stand would be very personal because my very immediate member of my family was detained by the late former President Moi. And so it is with that memory, as you asked, that I personally look at his regime. I was young, and many of us were young when some of these things were happening in the country. But as you rightly put it, it depends on who you ask. There are those who will fondly remember Moi. You just need to look at the social media platforms in the country and see the discussions going on. There are those who fondly remember him for his social programs, the school milk, free school milk program for primary school children that he introduced when he was president. There are those, as you heard before, were talking about the educational institutions that he did help conjure through self-help Harambee programs. But again, there is that heavy hand of authoritarianism where some will recall him as a despot, some will recall that many were tortured, many were detained without trial, and many lost lives in trying to liberate Kenya from his regime, but also from the politics that were
and speaking of the politics,
so,
I mean, how decisive was the year
1982 yes.
When he survived that coup attempt? How decisive was that incident in shaping the type of president he came to be?
Quite decisive, and significantly so, because When Moi came into power, he was seen to be very, very compassionate, as earlier been stated, to be very pro-people, and to be almost a very soft kind of president. But after 1982, I think that's when the clause, his clause started showing, and he started hitting back for those who he did seem to perceive as anti his regime and anti his president. And also that took a very unfortunate turn, because it did help to entrench tribal politics, ethnic engineered politics in the country, where he did push away and push back people from ethnicities that were deemed unfriendly to his rule, and promote those that did seem to be helping his regime sustain. So the patronage system, the issues to do with how even politics and the issues that Kenyans are grappling and struggling with today,
right,
very much find their roots post-1982.
Okay, we thank you very much, Bob Mkangi, for speaking to us from Nairobi.